Let me guess. You want to grow your own food, and maybe you wanted to do this for a while, like many of us. But the problem is, you live in an apartment, or you got a yard the size of a parking spot, or you rent, and your landlord's made it very clear that the only things that are going to increase are his lack of patience and his rent increases. So you figure, man, not for me. Gardening is for people with land, people with raised beds, compost piles, sun hats, and a particular kind of happiness that only comes from owning a half an acre. Now, here's what I want to tell you today. That absolutely is not true. And it never has been true. This is something that you thought of yourself. Some of the most useful, most flavorful, practical food that grows, you don't even need a yard for it. You don't even need a raised bed. You don't even need a south facing window that does help though. Don't get me wrong. You just need a pot, some soil, a little water, and about 10 minutes of your attention every day and light of some sort. We're talking about herbs. And today we're going to go to 10 of them that you can grow right now indoors where you live, starting from almost nothing. I'm your host, Philip Davis from Ancestry Lands, and we're going to get into it because we need to talk about, ways that can help everyone who thought gardening wasn't for them. It is for you. It's just, we got to start small. Now, before we get into this list, let's talk about three things every indoor herb needs. The first one, like I said, is light. Most herbs want at least 4 to 6 hours of direct or bright indirect sunlight per day. A south or west facing windowsill is your best friend. If your windows do not get that much sun, a small grow light, which I'll have in the description section below, on a timer solves this completely. You don't need anything expensive. You just set it for 14 or, 14 hours on, 10 hours off, and your herbs will thank you like you're living in the Mediterranean. The second is drainage. Good herbs or good soil does not like to sit in water. Their roots need air so they just as much as they need moisture. A pot that holds water at the bottom will rot your plant from the ground up before you ever get to harvest anything. So make sure your pots have drainage holes. You put a small saucer underneath to catch that water, but empty that saucer after watering it so the pot doesn't just sit in it. The third is not to overwater. We talked about water, now we get to about not overwatering. This is what gets rid of and actually kills most herbs indoors. More attention does not always mean more water. Most herbs want the top inch of soil to dry up between waterings. Stick your finger an inch into the soil. If it feels dry, water. If it feels moist, leave it alone. And I mean, leave it alone. Come back tomorrow. That's the whole system. Light drainage and restraint with watering can go a long way. Now, let's talk about the plants now. Number one is basil. Basil is a gateway herb. It smells incredible. It grows fast. It's useful in more recipes than almost anything else on this list. It will make your kitchen smell like an Italian restaurant, and that's not a bad thing. Basils love warmth and full sun, and all the herbs on this list, it is the most sensitive to cold. So keep that in mind. Keep it away from drafty windows in winter. Harvest it by pinching off the top leaves, which increases or encourages the plant to grow bushier instead of shooting up and going to seed. Once it flowers, the leaves lose flavor. So pinch off any flower buds you see as soon as they start to appear. Sounds like high maintenance, but it's about 4 seconds per week. Number two is mint. Mint is an herb that grows so enthusiastically it becomes a problem outdoors. Indoors, in a pot, that enthusiasm is controlled and useful. It grows fast and it comes back after you cut it. It's one of those few herbs that actually prefers slightly more moisture than others. And again, slightly, because it spreads aggressively, which is why it's better to keep it in a pot than mix it in with other herbs, which is a good call. Fresh mint goes into teas, cocktails, salads, sauces, and desserts. Actually, cocktails are a great way to have mint. I had some in Canada; it was absolutely fantastic. It keeps well when dry. And if you've ever had pests sneaking into your garden, mint planted near entry points. Again, entry points is a natural deterrent. It's an herb that earns its space in more than one way. The next are chives. Chives are almost impossible to kill. They look elegant while doing it. They grow in neat little clumps and they produce edible purple flowers that are genuinely beautiful. They taste like a mild, gentle onion, which goes on everything: eggs, potatoes, soup, salads, anything cream based. You can cut them with scissors directly onto whatever you're cooking. No prep, you just snip and go. Chives also come back reliably after cutting, which means one pot of chives on your windowsill can produce continuously for months. They are the definition of low effort, high return. Number four, parsley. Now, parsley has an unfair reputation as the thing restaurants put on your plate that nobody eats. Real parsley, grown fresh, is nothing like that sad spread. It's a clean, bright, slightly peppery flavor that works in almost every savory dish. And honestly, it's better to have than the dry ones that you have in your spice drawer. And it's the most nutrient dense herb you can actually grow. It germinates slow and takes about 2 to 3 weeks from seed. It has more flavor than the curly variety that you see at stores. And that's the flat leaf one, Italian parsley. That one is way better and it's worth growing. Cut the outer stems first and let the center of the plant keep growing. Number five, rosemary. Rosemary is a woody Mediterranean herb that wants to grow small into a that wants to grow into a small shrub. If you let it, if you let it grow indoors in a pot, you can keep it compact and harvest it constantly for years. Again, years. It's drought tolerant, which means it's very forgiving if you forget to water it for a few days. It likes bright sun, excellent drainage above almost anything else. Fresh rosemary on roasted potatoes, bread, chicken, on anything coming out of the oven is going to transform a basic meal into something that smells like you knew what you were doing this whole time. Number six is thyme. THYME, not time, time after time. Thyme is a small, tidy, slow growing, and one of the most useful herbs in a kitchen. It pairs with almost anything savory, dries beautifully, which means any excess harvest can be spread on a paper towel, left to air dry for a week, and stored in a jar. It handles drought very well and it doesn't need much fuss. For beginners, it's one of the most reliable herbs you can start with. Now, everybody knows this one and you knew it was coming, oregano. Oregano is the herb that makes tomato sauce taste like tomato sauce. It's one of the easiest ones to grow indoors. It loves heat and dry condition, grows quickly, and is forgiving when you neglect it. Huh? Don't pay attention to it, still gonna do what it's do. Now, if you ever made it through a tomato series, now you're making your own pasta sauce from homemade preserves. We taught you in video one and video two just a week ago. Go back and watch them. Now you're growing your own oregano and put that into the sauce for a full circle journey. We've been building towards this. So grow some herbs, grow some other stuff, and get it into that tomato sauce. Now, eight, cilantro. Cilantro is divisive. People either love it or hate it. And it has a generic trait or genetic trait that makes it taste like soap, which is a real thing that happens and it's nobody's fault. Now, if you love it, grow it, and it's fast growing, it takes cooler temperature or likes it, and it bolts the seed very quickly in heat, which is actually useful because coriander seeds, which is dried seeds of cilantro, that you didn't know that, are their own separate spice you can harvest using cooking. You get two products, one plant. Then you bet you didn't know coriander seeds were in cilantro. We teaching too. Cilantro is best in a cool spot with bright light, so seeds directly into the pot rather than transplanting. So you always have fresh cilantro coming up as the previous batch goes to seed. Now, number nine, lemon balm. Lemon balm is a herb most people never heard of and immediately love once they try it. It smells exactly like lemons, not an artificial cleaning product way, but in a real bright citrus way that makes you want to put it in almost everything. It makes excellent tea, goes beautifully in salads and dressings, and it has a reputation of a calming herb that people swear by for stress and sleep. It grows easily indoors and it tolerates lower light better than most herbs. It spreads enthusiastically enough so you never really run out. It keeps in its own pots the same way you would with mint. So, number 10 is green onions, also called scallions. Technically not a traditional herb, hey, but it's useful enough to go on my list and earn its last spot, honestly. You can regrow green onions from the root ends of a grocery store scallion. So, hey, keep that in mind. Go to the grocery store, buy them, never have to buy them again. Cut off the white root at the edge, about an inch from the bottom, put it in a small glass enough for water to cover the roots, place it on the windowsill, and change that water every couple of days. Within a week, you'll have your own new growth. No need to go back to that grocery store. It's almost free, takes 30 seconds to set up, and it produces something you can actually cook with every week. If you want to grow them long term, transplant the rooted ends into a small pot. Once they have sprouted, they will keep producing for months. That's it. That's your 10. Now let's go through it again. Basil, mint, chives, parsley, rosemary, thyme, oregano, cilantro, and lemon balm, and lastly, green onions. Any one of them can live on a windowsill. Two or three of them together start to feel like a real kitchen garden. All 10 of them together Well, you got yourself an indoor arsenal and you've reduced your grocery bill and improved every meal you cook. And you've proven yourself that, hey, you can grow food wherever you are. And maybe that's a small step towards a bigger gardening. It matters not just because herbs are going to feed your whole family or replace a trip to a grocery store, but because growing something on your own, even in something small, changes the way you think about food, about land, and the reason why you should own it from ancestry lands, and what's possible with a little tension and a little space. That's what our channel is all about, and this is just the beginning of it. You can also go to Ancestry Lands to get yourself some property so that way you can think about starting to own land and what you can do with it. You also want to keep going with this, learn how to diagnose problems with your indoor plants and how to expand herbs into vegetables. Now, if you like this video, please give me that HMO special to help me out special by subscribing and drop some comments and tell me what herb you're starting with or what you've already grown indoors. I want to hear from you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace. That's it, folks. You can go to Ancestry Lands to start owning property today with payments starting at $250 a month, no credit checks, and owning land has never been easier. It's time to build your land portfolio one property at a time. We help you to get dollars from dirt and build generational wealth by owning small plots of affordable vacant land. Contact us to learn more. Oh, and speaking of dollars from dirt, I also wrote a book about investing in land for you readers out there. My book, Getting Dollars from Dirt, A Beginner's Guide to Vacant Land Investing, is on Amazon. The link is in the description section below. Inside, you'll learn simple, easy to read insights that will have you understanding why you should own land today. For more tips and tricks, subscribe for updates, comment below, and let us know what you enjoyed about this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
And remember, like and subscribe.